Hi, I'm an Australian living here in Belarus, and I've been here for the best part of a year now, and I feel like I've got a really good grasp of the culture and how people work, and I'm able to contrast that with Australia, America, and so forth. And I think the key to this is having seen several cultures in depth, you start to get some points of relativity, because this is all relative, right? There's no absolutes, people aren't polite, they're polite compared to a different culture, yeah? So what I've noticed here is that people have a very high level of emotional honesty. So what does that mean? It means that people don't put up this try-hard front, that they're a lot of pride, a lot of ego. They don't kind of have this. They have this just honest vulnerability. Now, this is only in some circumstances, but let me give you some examples. So if it comes to dating, for example, so I'm working with a number of guys here who are trying to meet a wife for the future, and I'm helping them to meet girls and screen girls that are appropriate for marriage and family and so forth. And so I'm reading a lot of text messages at the moment and just trying to help them analyze and work out what's going on. Now, what I'm seeing a lot is that women are just really honest. Like, there's no bluffing, let me be specific. In the West, what will happen is that people will deliberately not answer a message for longer than they normally would, to try to prove to the other person that they're much busier and therefore more valuable and should be seen as more valuable, right? So an Australian girl, for example, might wait to answer the message in the morning because they don't want to look desperate. They want to look like they have more stuff going on in their life, which is just blatant manipulation, right? And guys and girls both do this in the West. And if you look at dating coaches and dating advice on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, they tell people to do this. They tell both men and women to play this game. And it's really just bloody stupid, to be honest. It's fake, it's dishonest, and everything else. But here in Belarus, they don't really do this. If a girl likes you, they just message. There's no kind of game attached to this. Now, this is very, very refreshing. Let me give you some other examples. I love karaoke. Like, I actually love it. I don't even drink. Like, if you know me, which a lot of you will, I don't drink. Like, I might have one beer, one whiskey sour, that's it. Now, when I sing karaoke, I do it because it's fun. I'm not a good singer, but it's fun. There's something about singing songs with your friends that's really cool. Now, in Australian culture, this is not seen as a cool thing necessarily. People won't do it, yeah? They're too cool. They don't want to look stupid. Yeah, so they have their egos to protect. And unless an Australian is blind drunk, like paralytic, won't be able to remember the next day, they won't sing karaoke. Because this ego protection thing, right? Whereas here in Belarus, people just jump in. Like, not everyone, but again, this is relatively speaking. Much more people in Belarus will just jump in. And okay, they can't sing, and they'll probably say I can't sing, but I'll try anyway, yeah? So there's this kind of honesty of, I just want to have fun, enjoy the experience of doing some karaoke together, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, vodka helps, obviously, but yeah, it's not the same as it is in Australia. I mean, in Australia, you just can't get anyone that will sing karaoke unless they're pretty much on a stretcher, ready to get carried out because they're so drunk. Another example, I was at a festival thing the other day, more of a family-based festival by the Nemiga River. And they had a lot of activities. So, for example, they had a boxing bag, and you had to hit the boxing bag once, and it would give you the kilometers per hour of what you did, and if it knocked somebody out, or I don't know, whatever. There was also this other thing that you just hang on, and you had to hang there. I think you pay 6 rubles, and if you can hold on to hanging onto this bar for 2 minutes, you get 50 rubles or 100 rubles prize, some of this. Some other things, there's these kind of basic skill test things that, of course, they're rigged in a way that you're probably never going to win them, because that's how they make their money, of course, but it's a bit of fun, right? And I noticed that people here in Belarus get right into this stuff. There's a queue, dudes are just queuing up to try, because it's fun, it's interesting, Whereas in Australia, people wouldn't. People would be concerned about maybe not looking competent. And again, that kind of ego protection, and you'd find that most people wouldn't do it. But then if a couple of people started, then everyone would. You know what I mean? So this kind of safety in numbers thing going on. Whereas here, people just kind of jump into stuff like this, I've noticed. And again, I'm saying this just purely from observation, from observing Belarusian society, Australian, Amerikansky, following all these, right? It's obvious to me that Belarusians are much more willing to jump into stuff and try it and just have fun. You know, it's fun. I want to have fun. It's fun. You know? Whereas in Australia, the ego comes first. I can't be seen as being incompetent, or I don't even know entirely what it is. If you're Australian, tell me, please. I was talking to one of my Australian buddies here. G'day, David, if you're watching. And we were mentioning this, and we were agreeing essentially on the point I'm making. As always, I'd love to hear your opinions on what I've just said. This is a simple observation of a number of surface level behaviours where Belarusians and Australians act very, very differently. I'd love to hear your interpretations. Of course, I'm an Australian living here in Minsk, Belarus at the moment. If you're a foreigner and you're interested in coming to Belarus, you want some help buying a property, you want some help with visas, you want some help finding a woman to marry and start making babies with, I'm your man. I'm at marriedinminsk.com.